Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options in Play video update. So rolling right along, right? Big names are coming daily. Action a little bit more mixed, but as I've been kind of talking about in the last week and a half, when the average trading range on the stocks post earnings starts to tighten up a bit, which is probably more a consequence of the overall aggressive trend the market is in. So when the average trading range after results starts to tighten, it places more of an emphasis on just really finding like the better setups, right? Whereas some quarters, it's a lot more action, a lot more names moving around, and bigger, bigger intraday trading ranges. Now it's a little bit more concentrated on just like a handful of names. So you really got to pick your setups, and you really got to stick with the better strategies, right? And Square to me is one that I had circled coming into the week. So sat in this thing for a while after its last report, has gone nowhere, right? So part of why I'm interested this week is really because of the fact that it's done absolutely nothing since it last reported. So you can see this one candle right here. This was the move last quarter. Had a really sharp red to green move, and then immediately gave it back and essentially has been flat. A little bit lower, but more or less flat since like the day or two after its earnings. And uh, what I like to do, well, one of the strategies that I like to do is the combo move, right? The earnings combo move. I talk about it a lot. I've talked about it recently. It's basically looking at a setup, so a catalyst trade, right, as a combination of two. So it's the priced in catalyst, so in this case earnings, plus the technical move on top of it, right? So it's like when you get a priced in catalyst move that triggers a technical move, right? And that's why you'll see a lot of times I focus on things that are in consolidations ahead of earnings because the charts, they're like coiling springs, right? So you have like really well defined areas of support, resistance, and then when you get the catalyst as the spark to ignite the move, it's a much it's I feel like it's a much higher percentage chance that you get like those double moves, right? Because you get the consolidation resolution and the catalyst move, right? So that's why for Square, one of the main things I'm looking at is a stock, right? So a stock that's been in an increasingly tight pennant. So draw the lines so you can see in an increasingly tight pennant. Uh, really a name that has probably been the quietest that it's been since maybe 2017, right? So you can see that there really hasn't been a stretch of this type of performance on Square since mid 2017. Okay, so it's a high growth, high momentum name that's a lagging the market, right? So lagging a lot of its tech peers, which have come all the way back, and B in an increasingly tight pennant that looks close to resolution. So options this week, looking at maybe like a five, well, a little under five. So I'm staring at the options right now. It's about 475. Okay, that's about what's priced in. Um, it has a history of pretty good sized moves. It tends to respond a little bit weaker, right? So this past quarter, Open Red had a big reversal. That day it moved about 8 points top to bottom. So 74.50 to like 82.70. So about an 8 point reversal. The quarter prior to that was here. So they had about a 9 point drop. So over the last two quarters, it's averaged, say just between 8 to 9, so like 8.5 points. Options this week only priced in about 475. You have key technical levels right on both sides. So you got this tightening pennant with a well-defined area of resistance with plenty of room to run if it can get through 80. Right. You got really well-defined area of resistance up here in 80 and a ton of space higher. Obviously, on the downside, if it breaks below 70 and the bottom of this moving average support, right, then there's plenty of room lower. So a name that's like I said, a coiling spring is the way to look at it, with earnings as a pretty significant catalyst this week that could provide the spark. So I like these setups as volatility strategies, right? So strangle or straddles. I don't like to. I sometimes I'll pick a preference, but a lot of times I'll try to be even. Okay, so not necessarily picking a direction, just basically betting on movement that's greater than what's priced in. Square, maybe I'll look to favor the upside just a little bit, just because the overall market has been so strong, right? That this is a name that certainly could play some catch up. But just in general, something that I've been watching. I had it circled on my calendar coming into the week. I talked about in the earnings on the radar video. So something I wanted to put on your guys' radar if you missed that, just because I thought it was an interesting setup. I feel like it has some potential. So take a look, all right? So again, let me know what you think about Square or any of the other trade ideas. I mean, you had Apple moving around, you had some chip stocks. Just still really busy. A ton of names. Plenty more names remaining this week. So just lots going on. So I'd love to hear from you guys. So reach out. All right. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow.